episode 13. Alright, ready. Oh no, it went out of focus. Okay. Alright, 1, 2. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 13 of CostuMoms, wherein we talk about what's been going on with us and how bad we are at YouTubing.
Oh yeah. Funny how that works.
As always, I'm Amber.
Still Cait.
And, yeah, we hope that everybody is doing okay. We're doing okay. As well as we can, I think.
I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A year into a pandemic and...
We finally got to see each other.
We did.
So we'll probably talk about that a little bit. I also just woke up. I woke up about 40 minutes ago, so I'm still going to be kind of groggy, and I will be sipping my coffee. So I'm sorry for any musophones out there that can't stand to hear me do that, because I'm going to do it. Sorry. I'm going to be drinking
I woke up like
coffee.
5 hours ago.
Oh my gosh.
4 hours? I don't know. It's been a while.
Well, that's how my husband wakes up, so.
I don't love it. But so my husband's working nights right now, which means the small human is using this week to sleep in my room because it's like a special treat.
Oh.
Which means I wake up at the crack of dawn.
Ugh.
Because she's like, Mom, can we have breakfast? Can we go see the kittens?
Oh my goodness.
And so, I have kittens. That is new, and I'm covered in bandages because they are sharp.
Oh.
But that's been exciting. We've had them for about 24 hours now, and it feels like they've been here forever because they're a lot. They're a whole lot.
Yeah, so you'll have to talk me through how you ended up with both of them, because I thought you were just getting the one, right?
Yeah, me too. Me too. Okay, so long story short, my friend noticed a stray that had been like hanging around her house, and then she realized, oh, this stray is definitely pregnant. So she brought the cat in because she's like, I'm going to avoid a feral cat colony in my yard. And so she brought the stray, and the kittens were born, and there were 4 boys and a girl, 3 orange ones, and then the 2 that I ended up with, there's a black one and a tortoiseshell tabby mix. And so, unfortunately, my friend's husband is like deathly allergic to cats, so they've been living like on the sunroom, and he's been taking like liver damaging amounts of Zyrtec. But the first 3 were adopted really quickly, and then I finally convinced my husband to get the black one because I would love a void kitty. And so that was fine. And then the girl just wasn't getting adopted for some reason. And my friend's got a lot of stuff going on in her life, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she needs to have less stress. It'll be fine. What if we just bring the girl home with us and foster her until we can find her a home? Because I live in a really heavy military area. And so there's lots of new Navy wives and Air Force wives that are like, ooh, kittens. Usually posting on like the military wives page. And so usually kittens that are posted there get adopted really quick. So I'm like, this will be fine. There'll be no problem. I posted her on there, and nothing. Crickets. I'm like, fine, it's fine. Like, she'll get adopted. So we were talking about bringing them both here, and then my husband said, you'll have to bleep me because I'm going to quote him.
Okay.
But he said, what's one more f***ing cat anyway? And so he's like, if she doesn't get adopted, we'll just keep her. It'll be fine. Because like all of our pets, I don't know if I've talked about this, I feel like I have, super old, right? Like super old, like way past their expiration date at this point. So we joke that we run a pet retirement home, and we're bringing in younger caretakers, and it'll be fine. Like, what's 5 animals? So anyway, now we have 5 animals. But so we went to pick them up yesterday, and at that point we were still fully thinking we were fostering the girl.
Okay. And
then I picked her up into my hands, and she nestled herself on my chest and like started to fall asleep. And I was like, well, you're not leaving.
Right.
So by the time we put them both in our car from picking them up, it was pretty clear that they were both going to stay.
Okay.
And now that they're here, she's so sweet.
Aw.
Like, we brought them home, and they had pretty bad fleas. So we brought them home and immediately clipped their nails and gave them baths.
Okay.
And they were champs. I mean, I'm wounded, but
Right.
they were champs. And they didn't really complain that much. And they are really sweet and, like, want to play. And they're just lovely. And so now I have 5 pets.
No. Well, that's so exciting.
Please send help.
And are you still trying to figure out names?
Oh my gosh, I should have brought it down here. Our name list is like a whole notebook sheet full, like with 2 columns, boy, girl, all the way down, and then some more on my phone.
Oh, wow.
It's so bad. And people are suggesting, I thought that I would put up a thing on my Instagram and be like, hey, suggest some names. And I did not anticipate everyone to come up with such great names.
Oh.
So we already had some good ones. And now there's even more.
Mm.
And so now we're just stuck.
Yeah,
Because none of us can agree.
So how do you think the narrowing down process is going to go? Is it going to be child vetoes all, or like...
Well, so she wants to name them really weird stuff. Like,
okay.
Because she's very in the moment. And is like, how about Zipper? And I'm like, what? But what we're doing basically is we've all, like, written an initial next to the ones that we like the most. And so any of them that don't have all 3 of our initials are getting taken off. So we're starting there. And then, but the problem is my friend was already kind of calling them by names. So the girl was Nan, like the bread.
Okay.
Because her mother's name was Tortilla. And the boy is just Dubious Void.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what he is. So Nan has stuck. The boy doesn't really have a name, but so far we keep calling her Nan.
Mm.
So that may be it. I don't know.
Well,
So anyway, it's exciting.
PETA, like other flatbreads.
Well,
like
so
Roti
yeah, we were
or
joking like
something.
we'll name the boy Roti or PETA.
Yeah.
But the kid hates that.
Oh.
So we'll see.
Mm.
Husband's very team like Viking names.
Okay.
And I'm like fandom names, so like
Right.
Star Wars and geeky crap.
Right.
So.
Which I'm on board with all of those things. And then the theme that you have with your other animals is all people names, right?
Well, so our dogs are both named after book characters. And our cat is she's named after the Princess of Japan because she's extra. I don't know. We rushed with her name because we adopted her on a whim. And kind of like, it works because we can call her Psycho Aiko. But it's kind of a weird name for a cat. But, yeah. So, no, the other 2 are named after book characters. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, our animals are people names, but like old man names.
Yeah.
So, and like the reason that Virgil's named Virgil is because my parents got 2 dogs before he came along, and they're all schnauzers. So, they were, because of the big mustache, we came up with Wyatt from Wyatt Earp, and then Doc Holliday. So those are my parents' dogs, and then Virgil came along when I was still living with them, and I decided on Virgil because he looks like Sam Elliott's character in Tombstone. So the gray hair and everything.
That's perfect.
So that's why he is Virgil, which I think really, like, it ended up gelling with him really well because he's a curmudgeonly old man. But yeah, if we ever get another dog, I don't know how we're going to go through the naming process because Ian and I both had our pets separately.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting now because all of our pets predate the kid.
Okay.
So she's never had the opportunity to meet a new pet and name it. So this is like a big deal.
I see.
Like
so it's not just something to be done and thrown away with. Yeah.
No, because yeah. Do I regret naming my dog after a character in Twilight? Maybe. But it works for her. So.
Well, see, I didn't even know.
Well, see, that's why it's great, because they just sound like old lady names.
Right.
Like Sophie and Alice. But they are, so Alice is from Twilight, and then Sophie is from Howl's Moving Castle.
Okay.
Which is a great book.
Cool.
You should read it. But, so now we're like, should we go with Japanese names to match with Aiko? Should they be book characters? Should we just name them after flatbreads? I don't know.
There's lots of options.
Too many options. So anyway, that's what I've been doing for the last, well, we've known we were getting them for like 3 weeks now. And so this has been a topic of conversation the whole time.
Oh, man.
And so now we've all completely lost our minds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too much buildup almost.
Yeah, so at this point, we're just going to name them 1 and 2.
Right. Yeah, that's what I call my daughters. Uno and Due. That's Italian for those of you who are like, that's not what it is in Spanish.
Uno
it's
and
Italian.
dos.
Uno and Due.
Every time she says that, though, I want to correct her, so I feel you.
Well, I took Italian, so that's
she's
where
fancy.
my brain goes.
You took fancy Spanish. That's all
I did, and it was funny. Was it when I was down visiting you, I said something, and you're like, you speak Spanish like an Italian.
She does. It's very funny.
I have no idea, because quite frankly, both of them sound really, like, similar in the words. It's just the inflection that's a little different. So, like, I'm not hearing it because I'm not around it anymore. But
it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But she came to visit.
I did. It was so much fun, and Anne still talks about it. She talks all the time about your daughter. And
we
about
still
how
have to mail you all your stuff.
Huh?
We have to mail you all your stuff that you left.
That's true. I totally forgot that I had, like, I didn't even realize that I had left any of that there until I was filming for my jacket that I'm working on. That's what this fabric is for. And, yeah, when I was filming, I was like, dang it, I'd like my tripod.
I
Because I have a tiny bendy tripod that I left there. So I'm debating whether or not I should just buy another one, because it would be nice to have another one too.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'm going to mail it to you because we've got a box full now.
Right. When I have some stuff that I've got to mail to you as well. Not that I took from your house, but it's destined for your house.
You
anyway.
just found like a pile of stuff Anne took home with her.
I would not be surprised, quite frankly. She really, for some reason, whenever we go to someone's house, they bestow something upon her. So somehow she thinks that that's customary. Like when you go to people's houses, they give you a gift.
I did do that though.
Well, it happens everywhere, and I think it's because the smaller the child, the more like, oh yeah, sure, they're like, we're not using this thing, and you don't want to disappoint them. You know what I mean? And
no,
then,
I definitely just wanted to get rid of a bunch of stickers and torture you. So
actually, so we have very specific places for stickers anyway, so she knows that those are the only times that she's allowed to use them.
You're very, very intense. But
I can that. Be. We definitely have a lot more rules than my friends' kids have.
I have rules now post Sharpie Chronicles, but not before. And okay. I learned my lesson.
Really? Wow.
We didn't have rules about markers at all until she started drawing on crap.
Huh.
Because she never did. It was really random. But anyway, you came to visit and you drove all day.
I drove a long ways. So I live in Ohio, and I live mostly in central Ohio, but it's a little bit north. So it isn't, and Ohio is a big state, so it's not like it was a short trek to get to your place in South Carolina. So it's supposed to be a 9-hour drive all the way through. And it took us, I think, 12 hours, or 10 or 12. I can't remember.
It was 10 as far as the map said, but I'm sure it took
right.
you 12.
Yeah, because it took 12 because it was 2 hours longer. But I feel like that's not bad, because that was me alone with 2 small babies. You know, they're both really babies when it comes to like what they need. You know, Anne can't just grab things because she's in the car seat. So it's me constantly being like, okay, take this, throwing things at them. But yeah, the way down was a lot less smooth than the way back. Well, because on the way down, basically nobody slept. Which when you have a little baby, or not a little baby, but when you have a young baby toddler and that one doesn't sleep most of the time, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, please don't scream again. But no, about an hour and 20 minutes into it, Anne threw up. And then, and what was so sad is that I had gotten this like cool little tray that fits over her car seat so she could have like all these activities. I bought dollar store things for her to play with, and she will play with toys for a really long time. So I didn't feel bad about like, you know, this was a junk dollar thing. Because she will play with it forever. And she's playing with stuff, she's coloring on stuff, and she had just eaten like 2 whole oranges. She just eaten a bunch of goldfish crackers, and we hit West Virginia. And West Virginia is my favorite part of the drive. I love taking road trips. And so we start hitting the road, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. And you're going down and like, in these like big mountains. And, well, not big, these are little mountains, but anyway, they're big compared to what's around me. And, yeah, and then she just goes, Mommy, blah.
Oh no.
And so the first time it wasn't that much, but it was still, you know, you can smell it. It's not a great thing. And she's sad because she has thrown up in her car seat, and she's thrown up on one of her toys. So I was like, okay, it's okay. So I'm on the side of the road. I brought all these cleaning supplies, and I'm cleaning up. And on the side of the road, which also I found out that it's not common etiquette anymore, I guess, to get over to the other side of the road when there's a car. No, hardly anyone.
What?
Very, very few cars actually like got on the other side.
That's rude.
It was very scary. And especially because I had to get her out, and she's on the side that the cars are coming. So I would have to wait there, and then once that would happen, I'd have to open the door, quickly do some stuff, and then shut the door again, dodge around, wait for cars to go, and then be like, okay.
That's ridiculous.
So it was a little scary, but anyway, I got her cleaned up. She was sad, but it was all right. You know, not a big mess. Then we continue on, and it wasn't 30 minutes later that she threw up again. And this time it was everything she'd eaten, and it got everywhere. And I did not have any more paper towels for the rest of the trip. So after that, it became a lot more smooth. But yeah, I'm glad that the first trial run of, you know, the car, because we just got a new car, I'm glad that the first trial run worked.
It's a very nice car.
I'm getting a notification here that my battery is almost dead. So I'm going to change the battery out.
Okay.
Stand by. Yeah, so we came down to visit, and we had a really fun time. It was fun to be in your house and get to see you, and I hope that my girls didn't drive you crazy.
Amber thinks her kids are obnoxious. They are not. They're
so loud.
They're kids, and I have really tall ceilings and like hard floors, so everything's loud. Like,
well, I guess that's true.
But they're really good kids. I think that you just got spoiled with Anne. Like,
I did get spoiled with Anne. Anne has been much easier than Emma.
Meanwhile, my first child and only child was a disaster. So I was not fazed. I was like, oh, I remember this. Not a problem. But I mean, you just came down here and brought your adorable children, and then I put you to work, so.
Well, you didn't put me to work. I volunteered for it and then told you that you're not taking no for an answer, so.
We have very different opinions of how this went down. But we made a dress. Somehow, despite having 3 small children and a billion animals and I don't know, my husband or whatever, we made a dress. By hand, except for like, what did I do? The side seams of the skirt by machine or something?
Did you do the hem by machine?
Oh, yeah. But I took it out, so I'll fix it.
Well, yeah, I figured you probably would, which I felt kind of bad about because it was like we only did it for that photo shoot at the end. And I will say photo shoot with quotation marks because South Carolina is really hot, and we went down there on like the hottest week ever.
Yeah, pretty much. But it was pretty bad.
But we still managed to get the dress done, which I think is really fun. We took some funny videos, so I will.
Okay, now can you turn and come this way? Wait, stop, freeze. Red light, red light.
Yeah, you should put them in somewhere.
Put them in places.
We did, what would we do, a time-lapse of, like, you draping the sleeves or something?
Yeah, and then setting the sleeves, I think.
But, like, I think the only reason we managed to get it done at all is because we both are relatively fast at this point. Because if we had been any slower, there would have been nothing. But we did it all, like, thinking, oh, we'll have a lovely picnic with the girls, and we'll all get dressed up and have beautiful pictures for years to come. And what actually happened is we stitched to the wire, and then everyone got dressed, and everyone looked great. Like, you altered your gown, right?
Mm-hmm. I did, yeah. I altered it to my current size, and then I altered Emma's.
Yeah.
Which I just posted about on Instagram.
Yeah. And then everyone was dressed, looking really adorable, and then we walked outside because we decided not to go do any, like, historic sites because that's not great. Like, we don't want to cause any additional hurt or whatever and just be like, oh, look how amazing we are dressed as colonizers on this plantation. We didn't want to do that. So we just went in my crappy backyard to take pictures. And then in the second we walked outside, the kids were like, well, we're done.
Yeah, and it was immediate because everybody was excited. Well, save for Emma. Everyone was just excited because they looked so cute. And the girls, you know, you could tell they felt like they were princesses. And we all go outside and it was like everyone just deflated.
We just hit a wall of, like, steam.
And at that point, because everyone was uncomfortable, everyone was annoyed, including me.
I was actually fine, but everyone else was real pissed off.
And, like, I already look like I'm pissed off most of the time because of my lip. So, like, not only was that there, but I was also just ticked off that both of my kids were not cooperating in any way. And especially Emma. And I had forgotten, every time that we take photos, I forget how hard it is to get Emma to sit still and to get Emma to actually take photos because she's excited to be in a new place. So all she wants to do is crawl around and explore, and she can't walk yet. So if she were walking, we would be able to maybe catch her while she was upright or something because, you know, she's toddling. But she is a speed demon when she's crawling, and I think that's why she hasn't taken up walking yet. So we go outside. Anne just wants to play, but also is like, ew, this is disgustingly hot. Your daughter decides that, like, she wants to play with all of the things.
Yeah,
right?
we brought out our, like, reenacting horde of kid stuff, and for some reason my child, who hasn't touched this stuff in at least 3 years, is like, it's mine. And so when Anne starts to play with it, my kid's just like, she's lost. And so my child loves people, but hasn't seen people in like a year. And so she had all these people here, and she was having a great time until she wasn't. And then it was always like, she just kind of hit this wall of like, nope, I want my stuff, and it's my stuff. And then she turned into an asshat. So that happened also while we were outside because Anne wanted to touch the book. And my kid was being weird about the book. And then she wanted pizza, and the pizza wasn't here yet. And it was awful.
Yeah, there was a lot happening, and I don't blame her one iota for being annoyed at a younger kid wanting to play with her stuff. Because it's like when Anne wants to play with my American Girl dolls. I'm like, well, I mean, you can, because it's like, well, you're generally okay with playing with stuff. It's not like Anne destroys things, but only I know that. Your daughter can't know that. You can't know that. So, like, there's all these, like, things going in your brain of, like, oh my god,
yeah,
this was stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't blame her one bit, and I think that the heat just exacerbated
it.
Everything.
Every single thing. Plus, it was like dinner time, and like
yeah, and we were waiting for the food. The food got there, and then at that point, the older girls decided that they were absolutely done, and I think Anne just went inside.
Yeah, she went inside. My husband helped her get dressed.
Yeah, she didn't even wait. She just left.
She just peaced out.
So I'll put a couple pictures up that Cait got of Anne just looking like this.
There were some good ones of you, though. I was like, I insist that you three will get a good picture. There's only one good picture of me, and I think took it. Because, like, she was busy. Obviously.
Yeah, you could tell that the kids were checked out, and I think that was the saddest part. And the other sad thing about that is that we can't control the weather.
Nope. I tried.
So unless we would have gone to a place that was inside, I don't think we would have had good photos.
No,
anyway.
I'm glad that we didn't try to go somewhere, because having that be so disastrous and having, like, driven somewhere would have been so much more annoying.
Yeah, I would have just thrown my kids back in the thing and be like, I don't care. Crawl around in the trunk.
Yep, so now I need to drive to Ohio so we can try that again when it's not 8 billion degrees outside.
Except for I don't have nearly as much space as you do, so we would really be feeling the cramps.
I'll get an Airbnb.
Well, I think we need to do that anyway, because as we figured out, even though we were able to take a piece of fabric and some really rough slopers, like they weren't updated.
No, they were old,
so
we different
basically had to redrape using the slopers as the fabric, which was fine because we were able to reuse the fabric. But we took a length of fabric and made a gown, and without too much aid from your husband to watch the kids.
No, he was at work the whole time, basically.
So I feel like we accomplished an amazing thing.
I think so. And then you altered Emma's and your dress. My fabric that I used is beautiful, but a pain in the ass to work on. So, like, that was a struggle, but we did it.
Yeah, it is really pretty. It's kind of a widgy.
Yeah.
Because it's a slightly open weave, that means that the fibers kind of go like this when you're working on them, and it makes it very difficult if you want a smooth fit.
Which I do, because I have OCD.
So there was a lot of us like, oh my god, like it just moved. So we'd have to like repin it and stuff. And a lot of basting, I remember.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but it looks so pretty, and I can't wait for you to get like better photos of yourself. And next time, we should definitely get an Airbnb.
Just the two of us. Find somewhere to put the kids and just be like, okay, we're gonna go do our own thing now.
It was a lot of fun. However, I'm looking forward to the next time we get together, sans children, because then we won't just be like, oh my gosh, and stop tattling.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I apologize if she can't edit this out, but my dog is losing her mind right now.
Oh, I don't hear anything.
She is whining hysterically because no one is sitting on the couch with her right now.
Oh, do you want to grab her?
I guess. Be right back. Oh my god. Thank you, Alice. Thank you. So anyway.
Yeah. So we made a dress, and that night we had pizza and Chinese food, which was actually a really decent combination.
I never thought to do that before, and then we did, and it was great.
Yeah, it was fun. And there are lots of leftovers, of course, but
Sophie.
That's okay. I can just cut your sound whenever she comes through. But yeah, let's see what else.
We went to the beach.
What else did we do? We went to the beach, and that was also
not great.
I mean,
it was good, but
I wouldn't say regrettable.
No.
Challenging. It challenged me in every way. We'll put it that way. Because it was physically challenging. It was mentally challenging. Because when you got children that are articulate, which both of our kids are, and everybody, my kid is so loud, and everybody is like trying to get to a place, but it's almost an unknown destination, and also it was windy as all get out. So I dropped everyone off, save for the baby, so I could go get a parking spot. And so Cait, the champ, really the champ, took both of the girls with most of the equipment and and played mule and got all the way out there and found a spot. So I'm just amazed that you did that without just like dropping down in a random spot.
So we tried to go. I've lived in Charleston before. I know what beaches are good usually, and so the one that we went to first, despite it being on a weekday, I guess everyone's just like bored out of their minds because the plague is over or whatever. So we pull up and the parking lot is packed. There's people everywhere, and I hop out and I'm like, okay, I'll go see how busy it is on the beach. Walled, like tent to umbrella, people everywhere. So I came back to the car and I was like, nope, we're not going here. And so we get back in the car, we drive a little farther to a secluded beach, which I have been to before, but I think I had been at high tide. So what I hadn't realized is how far away the ocean was from where the parking was. I don't feel like I can fully express to everyone how far it was. Like what? A quarter of a mile or a half a mile? I don't know. It felt like 20 miles because everything was so heavy.
It was a long way. And hold on. My child is coming in. There were closer entrances. I found
we just didn't go that way.
We went to the furthest one. Yeah. But it being low tide meant that it really was a long ways to get to, you know, where you're not too far away from the water.
Right.
Because like we had kids, we didn't want to be super close. But also we didn't want to be super far because whenever they want to go, you want to be able to yell at them.
Yeah.
And them hear you. And it was also like the wind was coming directly off of the water into our faces, I feel like. And so we had a struggle session with the umbrella.
The umbrella did not go up. For a while I was like, it'll be fine. I'll just sit here in this chair and hold the umbrella the whole time because that's how committed I am to not being in the sunlight. I don't like sunlight. It doesn't like me. But it was not going to happen. I was like, I'm going to lose this at some point, and it's going to go careening into some other people, and then we're going to get sued or something. So we took the umbrella down, and we were in direct sunlight, wind crazy. We tried to set out like a towel for the girls to have lunch, and that didn't work. The towel just was like collapsing in on itself. And then there was all the crab poop. That was fun.
Yeah.
I had never...
And apparently Emma ate some.
Yes, she did. So I've grown up at the beach my whole life, and I've never seen what I saw that day, which is, like, you see holes in the sand everywhere. And that's, you know, the crabs go down there and they do their crabby thing. But every single crab on that beach apparently had relieved themselves and cleaned out their holes or something. That sounded real nasty. But like, so the whole beach was like covered in this like little pellets that look like sprinkles, honestly.
They look like chocolate
until
sprinkles.
You step on them. Or until like, so Amber took my daughter and hers down to the beach to swim, and I was hanging out with Emma. And Emma's crawling around doing her thing, playing in the sand, and then she grabbed a handful of this crab sprinkle goodness and was just like, ah, before I could even reach my hand out. So I left all our stuff, grabbed the baby, and took her to the ocean to dip her in because she was covered in slime, basically.
Yeah.
So all of our stuff was just kind of coated in this lovely brown stuff.
Yeah, and then when we finally, we got the girls covered in sunscreen, or so we thought. And, did she get burnt at all?
Mine did get burnt a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
But not bad.
Because we were burnt.
Yes.
Badly.
She got burnt on her legs.
And this was the first day.
Well, you already had a sunburn.
I did, yeah, because I crammed gardening. So, like, since having children, I've realized that everything is at least 2 weeks later than when I want it to happen. And so it got to the point where if I were going to leave for a week and my peppers weren't in the ground, they would just die. Like, they would just die in the little, you know, cell planters that they're in. So the day before, was it? I pulled an all-day gardening thing, and it was overcast the whole time, and I thought, oh, well, it's overcast. I should be fine in a tank top. I am dumb, and I am fair, and I am not as fair anymore because I was just, like, horribly burnt. And then 2 days later, we're going to the beach, and in all of the chaos of it all, I didn't put any sunscreen on. And just crisped even further. So that was, yeah. And the seagulls tried to eat the girls' food. And Anne was a little bit terrified about that. She still talks about the seagulls. Because it's just amazing how you open up a thing and all of a sudden they're there. So yeah, there was a lot of chasing of seagulls. And,
Yeah.
but we got some cute photos out of it
and
all.
Anne got to go to the beach, which she was excited about. So basically,
Emma loved it.
She drove 12 hours with puking children, came down and got a sunburn and covered in crab poop, and then I made her sew for the rest of the time. And then we stood out in the heat and all sweated, and like her daughter ate like some spiders probably, and then she drove 12 more hours home.
But I can't tell you how refreshed I felt after I got
Well,
back.
that is a surprise and also good.
Because, like, even though, it was a trek getting down there, coming back was a breeze. Like, Emma slept almost the whole time.
Nice.
Anne slept for probably a third of it, which was fantastic because I didn't have to hear her talking. She's like me and she doesn't shut up. And so, yeah, it was great. I got home and I honestly felt better. Because, like, I have been, and I'm sure you felt this way too, I've just been in, like, the weirdest cyclical depression, and I'm sure that lots of people feel this way, but I will have a really high day, and then for weeks, it'll be a buzzing low, and really low, not just like I'm feeling kind of down, it's like I don't want to get out of bed every day type of thing. And so, it was nice to have that, to be able to see you guys and to just get out of my house. Because even though I was doing sewing and stuff that I would do at my own house, just getting out of my house and seeing other faces makes it less like that. And then being, my favorite people anyway, it was lovely. So I hope that you guys weren't too drained because I enjoyed it.
No, I did. And then the problem was I turned around and like had to go to my dad's house like immediately after. So,
but you're a trooper for that.
And then we came back and then we're like, oh, now we have to like go back to normal.
And then go pick up some kittens.
Oh yeah, and then we got kittens. And then like I'm going somewhere in a couple weeks and then my nephew's coming and I'm just like,
oh my gosh, you packed your summer.
I did, unintentionally. Oh, and then, like, in between all of that, the whole, like, Williamsburg thing happened, which was, like, extremely stressful and awful.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And, like, oh, man, it's just been a weird couple of weeks. But, no, your visit was the highlight of it for sure. And I'm so glad that you tortured yourself and came down.
It wasn't torture by any means. And I feel like it's a pretty good, like, it's a good triumph, I guess, that the worst thing that happened was Anne threw up a couple of times in the
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have done it. I had to take my kid, I think we drove 6 hours once, maybe 7. That was awful. And I had, like, an iPad for her. I was just like,
So, anyway, we can wrap it up, but, I do want to say I apologize that we haven't been posting so much. Things have been crazy, as we just detailed, but also I kept forgetting to just do it. Like, I've been in such a weird brain space that I've been forgetting to schedule when we're going to do these things.
Yeah.
So,
I do try to, like, I kind of leave it to you because my stuff is easily paused. I don't have 2 tiny humans running around. So maybe I should just be like, Amber, we gotta do the thing.
No, I think it'll be better now because my husband's schedule is changing, which is a whole nother thing that I'm very unhappy about. But, his schedule is changing and I'm actually having to get a babysitter and I'm having not a good time, what's the word? Luck, actually finding a babysitter. 3.5 years here, guys, and I'm finally finding a babysitter, not for lack of trying. It is very hard to find an adequate babysitter that will work with your schedule. But anyway, so once that happens, I think that I will be able to do stuff because it'll be 3 days a week, plus a day on the weekend when my husband watches the girls, that I will be able to actually work on stuff. So yeah, we didn't even get into like work struggles.
That's a whole other level of nonsense.
So we actually just talked about the happy things today, and we hope that you guys will join us in the future. Hopefully we will have another episode coming out soon. We have some things in store for you. At least we've got them planned on the docket that we could hopefully produce and get out to you guys. And yeah, we thank you guys for sticking around, because we enjoy doing this, and I know that a lot of people have messaged me and messaged you and said that they really enjoy what we are talking about and what we're trying to do. So if you have any topics that you guys would like to see us cover in any of our videos, then please let us know. We would love to cover and see what you guys are interested in hearing about, because otherwise we're just going to shoot the shit, for lack of better terms.
And every once in a while do something that actually resembles content, but mostly just BSing until you tell us what to do. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
We have a long list, actually.
We do. It's just sometimes it's hard to get in the right mindset for it, and we don't want to.
Yeah.
We don't want to half butt anything. So
half butt. That's a good one.
What's funny about that is it is half butting.
It is.
Because you're not saying the full thing. But anyway, we'll wrap it up. We've talked long enough. Like and subscribe. You can catch Cait on all of her things.
It's Willoughby and Rose literally everywhere.
You can catch me on all of my things, which are Lady of the Wilderness and Virgil's Fine Goods. We have an Instagram, CostuMoms, or at CostuMoms, I think is how you're supposed to say it. But I did want to leave you guys with a recommendation. So, if you're on Instagram, you've seen a bunch of craziness regarding some of the conduct of the historical costuming community. And I really would like to direct a lot of people to look at the Slave Dwelling Project. They have a website. They also have an Instagram. There are different ways to follow them. But it's a great place to further your knowledge and to immerse yourself in a different experience than you might already be experiencing. So I highly recommend seeing what they're doing. They're really trying to do their best to bring light to the slave or enslaved experience in the United States and what that entailed. And in the historical costuming community, we really need that context. So we don't want to leave it out, and I want to make sure that that you check it out and donate if you can, and if you can't, then just like, share, and give them some love, because they're doing some really amazing work. There's not a lot of information out there anyway about that experience in history, and so they're doing really amazing stuff to bring those stories to you. So yeah, do you have a recommendation at all?
Yes, but I can't remember the specific. I'm gonna look it up real quick. I think it's it's also on Instagram. Our Mammys, is that? Have you heard of them?
Yes, that sounds right. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll put it on screen.
So Our Mammys is a great Instagram to follow, and they are once again giving context to all the stuff that, like, we like to play pretty princess dress up, but there's other stuff that goes on behind all of that. And so, what's the phrase people have been using? No costuming without context. I feel like I've heard that. Our Mammys is a great Instagram to check out. They are doing wonderful work as well, and I think that you should follow them. Mine was a lot less articulate than what she said, but I wasn't planning to give you a recommendation, so
yeah, I did kind of put you on the spot. But anyway, yeah, so we'll cut it off here, but anyway, check out all those things, and have a good one, guys.
Bye!
Bye!
Oh my god, you're so heavy. Oof. Sausage.